Call the meeting order. You're gonna call the meeting?
We accept the rest.
They got a certain executive session.
We're gonna add an executive session. Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Aye. Aye.
It's in the minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as written. I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's free.
It was all in there, so.
You want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
That first. Here, but then no do the order and trust in the future.
Yeah. I can start whenever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
No problem. It's really not as much as ordering trucks, it's just the whole, what's happening. Started in California, really. So back in 2010, we had come out with diesels that were zero emissions, and it took a while, but it basically is here. So then we thought we'd be over, but now they're making such a strong push in for electric trucks, which is I think they're talking about. Trouble with electric trucks is they haven't engineered them really the best way. We don't have a PTO to run anything off it, but California pushed what they call a CARB 22. And the way it works is the diesel engines are zero emissions, so they're allowed to go there, but people weren't buying electric. So they said, if you want a diesel truck, we're going to hold you to the fact that you have to sell one electric, and we'll let you sell 6 more diesels. That's really what's behind CARB 22. But we couldn't figure it out because you're going since 2010, now we're up to 2020. We're actually started 2026 models next year. We've actually been going after for better fuel economy, burn less fuel as well. But then the states got together and said, well, why don't we do CARB 22? CARB 22s eventually will be here. In California, the way they did it is they only border 2 states because they have the ocean and Mexico on the other side. They don't allow you in there, but they couldn't figure out how to do it in New England. So right now, in January of 25, Massachusetts and New York adopted CARB 22. And what they're telling us, we can't sell any diesel trucks until we sell one electric, and it has to be on the road. In other words, you can't just build it. It has to be registered on the road. And then we go to the government, it's per manufacturer. So we're a Freightliner Western Star, which is really a Daimler-Benz, Mercedes-Benz, is who makes our engines and our trucks. We would have to go to them and say, okay, we have electric ones sold. Then they'll give us credit to sell 6 more diesels. But we just don't have customers for them, and then we don't have the infrastructure. To give you an idea, Vermont goes in January of 26, so we have 1 more year left of it. And honestly, I'm sold out all of 25, because if it gets built in 25, I can sell it in 26, but I can't sell anything that's built in 26. That makes sense. If they keep holding up. No,
You can't sell anything that is built in 26 unless you sell an electric. And then it's only 6 for 6
right.
every one.
And then it's
How
per
many people are buying electric trucks? Municipalities.
Right now, they're only built, a good example, they're only built in Portland, Oregon. Peterbilt, Kenworth, all the competition doesn't have them. We have them because we do a lot of smaller trucks. But I'll give you an idea. Food Connect is trying to buy one from me now. Okay, and they're a nonprofit organization, so it's all federal and state money. It's a good organization. They basically take farm food that's raised here locally, and they take them to schools and educate them. So I've sold them probably 3 diesel trucks over the last 15 years, and So they need a refrigerated body on the back, and they need a non-CDL because they don't have CDL drivers. And so they came to me and said, we really want electric to show kids and all that. And we have a lot of grant money. We have a lot of federal money. I said that would be the truck, the cabin chassis, that's without the body, is normally 80 to 90,000 for a diesel. The electric starts at 325 to 350. Plus the minimum, we're the only ones that sell it. Recharges, the minimum recharger is 75 to 150. Depends on how much power you have in your place. So we're already up. Then they also wanted electric diesel, electric generator refrigeration body. And that, when I get all done, it's 750,000, which they still want to do because they get so much federal and state. Problem is too, is we have to put a charging station in order so if they ever bring it to us, so we can fix it. Because the other problem was they have to cut the route down. They can't go more than 75 miles on it. And here's the biggest problem. It's not legal because the thing weighs so much that they can't haul anything. So I had to give them an exemption from the federal government to say that this thing is 26,000 pounds is the most you can have for a non-CDL. Anything over that, you have to have a CDL. This thing is way more than that empty. So they're going to allow me to build a truck that's really going to be 35,000, but they're going to allow me to say it's only 20. It's crazy. But that's coming January of 26. So it's caused the market to go nuts, you know. So not just muni plow trucks, just anything that's in a truck, because people are now panicking from Massachusetts. So they actually, we're ATG. We're a company that basically we were just in Westminster, and we always had a store in Mass. But now we got bought because all the manufacturers are going to less owners than the same amount of rooftops. So about 10 years ago, we saw it coming where they only wanted one owner in all of New England. And that's just not us. If you go to the international dealers, we used to have 5 international dealers compete with me all the way around us. They're all owned by one, all 50 of them now. And they don't even want to be in the plow truck business. They just basically control it. We have 8 stores in New England, in basically our headquarters in Worcester. Very, very good company. I'm 73, the only reason I stay there. They're really good people. They treat the people right, and they're honest, and they're really a good company. What we end up happening was all of a sudden we're so busy. So I'll give you an example right now. I have 257 trucks on order for next year.
And is that because you are the only company that is also manufacturing the electric, so you're the only company that can sell them right now, or sell them?
Technically, coming down the road is going to be, so.
I'm just trying to understand the process.
Yeah, this is really confusing because if you're making me buy electric, how do you allow me to run the diesels? If they're clean, why can't I run them? So it's really screwy because it doesn't cut any competition out. We were arguing that the towns are hurting because you can't register a truck other than your town. But all the big people would say, well, we'll just register them in New Hampshire and we'll come over here and work. That's how crazy it is. So all the big fleets, for example, they're going, I have one customer in New Jersey has 300,000 pieces of equipment. I asked them the other day, I said, Bill, where are you registered? Everything is going to Ohio. I just sold them 22 trucks. They're going to go to California because it's that kind of a global crazy. I just come back from Wisconsin and sold to the largest paving company. We're short of inventory and everybody's panicking to get as much as they can before each state gets shut off. At the last minute, Pennsylvania decided not to do it. Maine decided not to do it. Oregon decided not to do it. This went to January 25. But Vermont's coming up January 26. Right now, what happened too was we have less vendors that make the plow equipment. When I used to do this, we had 3 vendors in the last, let's say, 10 years that were, Charlie would say, hey, I want either Tenco, an Everest, or a Viking. Those were the 3 companies. So he could come to me and say, hey, I want a Freightliner, Western Star, or International, but I want this equipment. And we had this relationship. When I started, it was 7 vendors and 9 different body manufacturers. Now it's just me and Viking. You know, be totally honest with you. We're the only ones that still take trades. The state of Vermont came to me, and you guys always been like everybody else. You got to have 3 bids for the VLC. You got to have 3 people. Well, the state of Vermont was 65 pages on how to bid. And I've always kept saying I don't want to do them. They actually got so disgusted with me, they just basically said, "Here's 40 trucks. You give it to us whenever you can." I said, "Well, I don't even know what the exact price is, but I'll start here." They don't care. They're in the same boat. They got to have plow trucks down the road. Got it, but how we can't, so it's not business as normal. So I got together several years ago with Viking going like, he's the same way. He's going, we're sold out. So what we tried to do is we put in orders for the whole year, and we just sit down and go, okay, I'm going to take care of my AOR. My AOR would be Bennington, Windham, Windsor, Orange County, Orange County, and 2 counties over in New Hampshire. However, what's after that? Like right now, I'm past that as far as this year we're in, and anybody that's buying anything now would be St. Johnsbury, Newport, Littleton, New Hampshire, places that don't know. Everybody's waiting to see what's left over. But I always take care of my AOR first. So Charlie said to me, "Hey, I need a tandem or 6-wheeler in 26. I bet put the order in." Not that you put your name on it, you couldn't give me an order if you wanted to. All we're looking for is, like, normally you're on a trade schedule where you're saying we got 1, and in 2 years we have 2. So we're going to all the towns now, and that's what we're saying. Forget 25. I'm done. I'm full. I have none. I'm actually got orders now that will be lucky to be built in January and February of 26. And so what we're trying to do is get a feel of who's in 26 is getting them, because I'm going to have to put orders in for 26, but they got to be built in 25. So I'm trying to see who's fair, what towns that are good towns with me.
And do you give preference to people that order 5 trucks versus 1? I know that's not a very nice question.
Well, that's how I got here. It used to be I ordered 1 for your town, 1 for this town, and I came along and I said to Viking one day, "This is nuts, because if I get a discount of 5, then I get 1 at 15, then I get 1 at 25. Why don't I order 25?" So I went to Breakline in Westminster. Can I order and they'd have to go to a town. Can I order under the state of Vermont bid? Yes.
Oh, wow.
So I order under the state of Vermont bid. When I went to some will want aluminum wheel, some will want a visor, and I finally said, I'm going to order everything loaded because I'm getting $8,000 off, so I can be competitive. And then I don't lose the person who wanted a nicer truck, and the one who didn't want a nice truck is getting a nice truck, and they're still getting a fair deal. So I go to all the towns, and I've been a selectman for 20 years in Westminster. My town's the same. They only buy Western Stars, and when I go to them, I say, no matter where I go, because I want to be fair, the town of Andover, town of Westminster, town of West Windsor, the town that, no matter where it is, same truck, same price. The only thing I do different, like with Westminster, is I give them a little bit more for the trade because it's my town. I tried it. So the trade is kind of my wild card of, okay, who takes care of their trucks and what they're worth. Do I think that's going to change? Yeah. Right now, we tell the people we're up to almost 300,000 for a can, the big ones with that what he runs. In Massachusetts, they're 400 to 450. They're that much more. One is because Viking is a factory, and down there they're a vendor. In other words, it'd be like buying a Freightliner directly from Freightliner. Is basically what it is. And when we were doing business for years, Tenco was a factory, Viking was a factory, Howard Fairfield wasn't, and they were always a lot more money. Howard Fairfield bought Tenco out and moved out. And they basically, if you called him right now and he says, I want an Everest piece of equipment, or I want a Tenco, they'll tell you that if you're going to prices in Viking, we're 25 to 40,000 more, so don't bother unless you want to pay more for it. Just times we're in. So what we're going to is all the towns is here. If you really want one of those, so they had the other day, a town Epworth said to me, can we get one quicker if we have one on at Howard Fairfield? And I said, well, call over there. And they just told me, yeah, bring the chassis over. And it's a year and a half and we'll get to it. So, it's really is nuts.
What do they do with the trucks when it's a year and a half sitting in wherever it's sitting to maintain
Yeah.
the, everything from,
That is my problem, I'm paying floor plan. I'm paying, you figure it out, right now, polio on our floor plan, we have over 500 trucks in our.
but how do you maintain it? Just keeping it, do they start them up? Do they?
Yes, we have
foolish questions, but
No, there's not.
I know that I don't leave any of my vehicles sitting for an extended amount of time without.
I have right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 5. One's going to Florida, retired truck drivers. And so we offer to move equipment because we go to Burlington every day and all that. And one of them, every Tuesday and Thursday, goes out and starts, he rotates.
Right.
Rotate, they'll start this part and then we'll start that part. But right now, in their wisdom, my store is a little different in that if you've been to Westminster, we have 2 locations. And what happens is our main location where we do parts and service it's always been, that's where it started. Then I convinced them to buy the place on top of the hill right off exit 5. And now I have 95 used trucks, all the trucks from all the stores. So every day the drivers are coming in from, today they came from the Cape, from northern New Hampshire. They're bringing trucks. My mechanics, I have 4 mechanics and a detail person, only work on sales. That's all they do. So sometimes we fix them up and return them, or a lot of times we sell them out. We just sell them out there. And it has made a difference because it's gotten to the point where people are looking for used plow trucks, for example. A lot of towns in Mass, they just don't have the money. They got caught off guard, are coming up and they keep asking me like, where's your trades? Like this week, I told you, Grafton's coming in this week and I give them a list. I said, but you better come up because it's first come, first serve. And, I'm selling for a really nice one for 100, 125. And that's something that goes from 450 down where they are, it's the whole business is really, it's going to have to change because 2027, the federal government is trying to get involved, which should have been from day one. This should have all been federal. It should have never been the state because, like I said, it's not even fair for the people who are in the state that you can't buy a truck, but yet somebody else can buy a truck and come over here. Because we're not cutting. See, in California, the old trucks, they're booted out. They can't go.
Right. I know that people have to leave their loads and someone else has to come with a truck in California, pick up the load and then transport it into, even if it's a mile over the border.
That's what I just
They have to drop the load there and somebody has to pick it up and then take it that extra mile. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
It is absolutely
The
ridiculous.
22 trucks go from LA out to the border.
Yeah.
But now what's wrong here is now I have all these people who want to fix up these old pollution. There's a pollutant. You see the black smoke come out of them, but they're going like, we're just going to put money in that. Can't buy a new one.
And their grandfather did.
And the grandfather did. Because what they did is in 2010, we had emission 2007, 10, 14, 17. We're 21, now we're into 26. In California would say we can go back 4 generations of pollution. That's how they go by, which bring you back to 2010, the first year we had after treatment. But Massachusetts, New England isn't doing it. They got no way of regulating it. And then also they got no way of keeping you out. So all these trucks are going to go through here, work here. It's not going to do anything for the state other than hurt the people who are in the state trying to purchase something. Do I think when, hopefully come January 26th, the politician will realize how much is hurting. They exempted fire trucks and police right away, but but the fire truck and police didn't want to allow the snowplow to be a member.
Really?
So that's what they're arguing now that, well, we need to plow the roads in order for the ambulance to get
Right.
place. Oh, why can't we have those? Will they allow that down the road? It's going to have to, because one is that, like I said, there is no electric truck that has a power takeoff depth, which they have to have. Anything that runs a piece of equipment, dump truck or anything like that, has to have a.
So the actual truth is, say Andover was just rolling in dough. We, for whatever reason, one of us, somebody died and gave Andover $50 million. It's in our bank account. We say, we want 2 of these electric ones. We want these. You guys make us these. We would bring them here and we couldn't use them at all. They wouldn't work. We couldn't
And they
use
have
them.
to have mechanics that can work on
We
it.
couldn't, right, we couldn't.
Yeah, but what
we
he's
couldn't-
saying is it's not even possible.
Right,
No, they don't.
exactly.
Yeah, now, could I sell you a box truck? I guess you could. I don't know what you're doing with it. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
but I'm talking about if we said we
Yeah,
need
we
2
want
new
plow.
No way.
plow trucks that
No,
have
and
all the gear
right
on
up
them.
front, they're pounded. No, not you know, don't even bring it.
Right.
So the closest I got is this food one where first what they do is make them screen them. And then basically, because Freightliner is so big, we're the only ones that actually have our own generator and everything. So they said, well, here. And then they told us in class, you know, 95% of people won't qualify. And so sure enough, I get them all the time. Well, it's because I keep getting calls from the state with all this grant money. They want to give it out. I said, well,
What a
so we got
waste
to
of tax
Wow,
dollars.
it's terrible.
do.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say, it. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
It really
But
is.
we're sitting on an order right now. So here's how crazy.
and
So-
but also it's impacting your business.
100%.
So it's people saying to you, so you can't even buy an electric truck to fill your quota and then just park it in your lot with a big
Right.
sign that says, electric truck, come look at it.
Well,
You can't even do that, right?
No.
You have to prove somebody's
Yeah.
actually plowing a road with it or whatever.
you know, when I went out to the factory, because they make you go out there. So they do have tractor trailers that pull it. Can't carry no weight because the battery is 35,000 pounds. But they go around a mile track. 80,000 pounds is the limit as every tractor trailer, if you know, that's the most they can haul. So it was loaded. It drove nice. It was nice and quiet. But I looked at the charge and it went from, now there's a 1 mile track, this level, that bank. And I drove 4 times around and it went from 91% charge to 84%.
Wow.
And in 4 miles.
So
I'm
4
going-
mill.
In 4 miles, I'm going, where am I going with this?
Right.
Yeah.
How are you gonna take anything
But-
anyway?
Charlie, we'll have to have a charging station like.
We'll just get a
Better be
special
3
battery
miles.
pack, and wear on your back and.
So the Daimler people, that they just met with the government, they're saying,
Yeah.
you guys, you don't have the infrastructure. We can't even build the trucks, so they're building them in Portland, Oregon, but they can't drive them here, so they have to put them on flatbeds. And it
You
costs them
can't
so
drive
much.
them here to get them here
No.
because they can't hold a charge to
And-
get here.
They can't get them here
Empty.
empty.
No, it actually,
Right.
in front of Congress, I don't know if you watched it, was on YouTube, but it was true. So they brought them in, and so the lady that was in charge had to prove that you could go from California to Maine with a tractor trailer. So that was the job they had. So they went along, and as they started, they realized that, wait a minute, I can just make it there. But what happened was when they went to the charging station, they were all full. So they had to wait and wait. So they came up with the brainy idea to send a diesel truck ahead of it, to find a place to tighten the spot up. So they end up getting into
So
a
they
spot,
could-
and they
Like a
they
spot
parked it-
saver.
It was exactly, they were spot saver. They're parked, well, this young couple just had a baby. And they have an electric car and they couldn't make it home. So they pulled in and they were getting cold. So they called 911 because they saw this diesel truck sitting there. And it caused all kinds because they tried to say, well, that was somebody eager and made a mistake. And the people in Congress were really upset. Well, if they didn't get caught, we would have thought.
We would have thought they would have made it.
They would have thought.
They would have been able to do that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's,
Unbelievable.
yeah, it's our fault. It's
Oh,
what it is.
absolutely.
The only thing that's helping me right now is we've been on a quota. Well, I only have so many trucks. That's what's making it hard. But this year, Massachusetts, which is our mother store with 3 stores, can't sell anything. So they gave me all their quotas. That's why I have so many, and why I'm trying to get so many built in 25, because they'll have that much more to sell in 26. Who knows what's happening? So that's, I actually ran on Allison 4,000, and we actually ordered 100 for the 4th quarter of 25, just of what they would take. Well, they take manual transmission, but just of the Allison transmission, just because they were getting tired of coming up.
And what's happening with all the other companies that build these, that aren't Freightliner, right?
I honestly,
What are they?
They almost disappeared. I don't have, used to be Peterbilt Ken where it's, competed with me, let's say in the log, in certain trades. Always international. In this trade was always every international. And like I said, I had here, you guys have DeLoreans? I think they had DeLoreans on who's would be here. Clark's, J&B, Scott Reed, and Liberty.
And they have to,
And they're all owned by one now, and they basically said they don't want to do it.
because they have to follow these same guidelines as well.
And they don't have anything for it.
And they don't have something to,
Correct.
they don't have an electric truck to put into the mix.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I just want to make it for the people that might be watching this.
Right. On top of it, legally, the only engine that can legally go anywhere is this Mercedes, but they bought Detroit, is the DD13, the engine that you people happen to run. That is the only diesel engine that doesn't have to have credits. It's like anything else. None of them got there. The DD13 is what everybody's copying. It's the only legal engine that's going to be here even in 27. And all the other diesel engines are spending. So Cummins, which is very popular, they decided to not even pass the 25 emissions because they're going to pay fines. They can still get a Cummins. They charge more, and they're on the regulated because they all pay penalties and fines. And because they're trying to figure out how to get their engines cleaner and you get better fuel economy. But technically, the engine that you're running this town is only one that can go anywhere.
It can legally go anywhere.
So when I sell a truck, so I go and I click it on to order a truck. This is data codes, it's real complicated, but it says not initially registered, Type 22 appliance, not initially registered in these states, which is now California, Mass, and New York. Didn't say, but it's CARB compliant. If it's not CARB compliant, you're not even allowed to sell in all the other states. But
in your experience, is it like penny wise and pound foolish to ever buy a used one? Do they not last very long or like?
no, it's yes in certain applications, but in yours application, been doing this a long time, and I always say, forget what you pay for it. Look at what it costs you to own the vehicle. So take that period of time that you own it, from the time you paid it, the time you do the maintenance. The reason why I'm saying is the after treatment, which is really nothing but a muffler, is now 25, 30,000. So we have people that almost abandon their trucks just because they don't want to fix the after treatment. What we're looking at is we sell a 7-year warranty because the 8th, 9th, and 10th year, the worst year they're owning a truck. You start to replace the batteries, the starter, the alternator, the radiator. That's why they won't allow us to sell a warranty pass in. So we have a lot of towns on a 7-year rotation, realizing that, okay, if I buy the warranty, and because I'm not running a lot of mileage, because you people don't, I cannot have, because the maintenance costs. We're going to a lot of towns, what happens is they keep putting money aside for capital, then all of a sudden they got to put 40, 50, 60,000 into fixing a truck. Now they have to take the money from the capital. And I have a lot of towns that, as select board come back and say, we hate going to the voters and looking for money for maintenance, because they're going to question, why did we do it? So if we put 20 aside because all of a sudden he's got to fix something and don't fix it, then the voters start giving us a hard time, well, why did you put money there? You didn't use it. And meanwhile, if you don't put it there, you got no place, because you can go to the voters and say, here's my capital, this is what we're going to pay every year. And it's scheduled, nobody, it's the maintenance that kills us. So we have a lot of towns now, especially in Vermont. And what I do is guarantee buyback, because I have so many other towns that in Mass, or New Hampshire and Mass have gone to a lot of private contractors. And that's what they're looking for, is to buy a truck to go to work. And they get hired by the state of New Hampshire or the state of Mass to work for them. So
Their job is just like taking care of 5 or 10 or 15 miles of road. That's what they do. They'll just sit, they take care of it, wait for it to build.
And we also don't have, it's not like we have 3 backup trucks.
No.
Whatever we have is a truck we have, and that's a truck we're using. We don't have backup trucks. So to me, I mean, and I don't know that much about it other than my own personal experiences, that if you're buying used,
I don't even think
run
that's an
into-
option.
I know.
No, I just.
No.
but I understand that it's a good question. It's a
I mean,
very-
because you're talking about the trade, so some towns must be buying the trades.
More flat,
Yeah.
geographical places
However,
It's a good
However,
question.
that don't.
I'll give you a good example. I took in a nice clean truck the other day. From the town of Rockingham. It was a 6-wheeler, Western Star, nice condition and everything. And it's just became 8 years old. They were trading 7, but they've been waiting for a year to get it. So they actually parked it. I just went and looked at it again tonight because I got it sold. I gave them 75, might have been or 80, I forgot. 75,000, let's say I gave it for them. Meanwhile, I had an international, and it came in from the town of Chesterfield, and I went and looked at it. It was the same year, the same specs, except it had an international engine on it. And nobody wants internationals anymore. And I gave them $5,000 is what I gave them. And they took it just because they had no choice. I got a yard full of internationals. Just nobody wants them. So I look at now the deal is what condition is your truck in trade and where am I going with it? Because I'm the only one left still taking trades. And the reason the international dealer is not taking trades right now on it. But it's, to me, if you keep it and rotate it, they're buying a nice spec truck. Your town does a nice job. It's a big heavy duty one. All the construction guys are looking to buy them. I got 3 right now that they're going to strip the plow thing off it. But the 6-wheelers, they don't, because who wants to buy a little truck that you need a CDL to drive? So the resale value is better on the bigger ones. And you guys are using them all summer long, you know.
And are we on that 7-year warranty plan?
Yes.
For
Yeah.
trucks?
But
So
it could
you're,
change. This could change tomorrow. I don't know, but politically, I think it's coming no matter what. This come 27, the federal
hard
government.
spot.
Yeah. And right now, Vikings, same with the years goes, all we do is just say here, this is all we can make. This is all we can do, and we'll try to figure it.
So to go back to the beginning, if you order Charlie a new truck next year, it doesn't matter if it gets built in 26, as long as it's ordered in 25, or it has to begin build in
It has
25.
to be built in
But
25.
you're already full, is what you said.
No, I already full of my order bank.
But you don't
I
have
haven't
a truck
put-
spoken for. Okay.
So, Vikings coming soon. Now I'll take my first quarter and go, here's all these VINs. We gotta start putting names on.
Okay, so
Now,
the idea would be that
To get your name on one of those
to get your name on
250
one of
trucks.
those.
right, and I go by a VIN. In other words, once that's
Yeah.
on order, I'm not making it up. There's a VIN. 'Cause I
Right.
can't keep track of it, trust me. And I'll go, okay, that VIN
That's Andover.
that's Andover, right?
So even
Because-
even if it's actually built in 25,
No, it will be. He's got 250 trucks being built in 25.
I
They
see what
just
you're
don't all
saying.
have a name on them.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So the only
But you're
difference
saying
is,
if we don't get our name on one, it could be a real crapshoot. as
you
to-
might not get a truck. I
Right,
don't-
because everybody else may go in and get those.
It's the unknown of
Right.
26 is what he's saying. When it
Yeah.
hits 2026, there's an unknown.
Yeah, the thing is too, it doesn't have to be, way back up, it doesn't technically have to be built. In other words, the Viking part doesn't have to be on it. The chassis has to be built with a VIN. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And the VIN is
Truck.
assigned to a model year. That
It's like
makes
you're
sense.
getting in
Yeah,
line, your name's
exactly.
on it, so
Right.
that when it comes through the door, your name is on
Right,
it.
it might have got pushed out and no problem at all. We did through in 2007 when they first came out. They were building frame rails because I don't even know if they actually stamped the serial number on the frame rail. So they were building frame rails and putting serial numbers on it. So
Just
we
to
could,
say that.
just so we could
Yeah.
keep selling them.
And so the truck that Charlie's driving now
Yeah.
would be the trade-in.
I don't know.
Charlie, is that right?
What's that?
The truck that you're driving
Correct.
now would be the
It's a
trade-in.
six-wheeler.
It's the
Yes, it's
six
the-
wheel
yeah,
that
the
we
six-
have would be the trade-in for this.
And what year is
That's a
that
19, so it would be due coming up right on the schedule that he's talking about.
on the schedule he's talking about? Because we have that 7-year.
I just got thinking, did we not do the 7-year? Remember we had that discussion? with Greg?
I don't think we did.
So we may not have online, so Josh would have that 7-year review that can, but not.
But that's already up, right? That's a 16, that
Yes.
one, right? So that's.
But the new one, his new one is
His new one
7-year.
has the.
His new one is 7-year. Yours may not be, but we don't know whether or not.
Talked
it is.
about,
Charlie, Chris is saying it is not. They did
Yeah.
not do the 7.
And I tell you what happened was, okay, you know how you buy a car and the catalyst inverter, and the government came to have a 5-year warranty? 2 years ago, oh, actually, yeah, 3 years ago, the government came along and said, hey, this after treatment, because we're making you put this after treatment on it, because it's government regulated. Why are you not giving it to them for 5 years? It doesn't say you gotta give it to them. It just says it has to be at no charge. So they raise the price of all the trucks and they give you the after treatment. However, the after treatment, that's worth about, so in 7 years, that's worth probably about $2,700. That is real money that you would have had to pay. We raised the truck $2,700, so now it looks like you're giving it. However, that after treatment is worth nothing if the engine doesn't have warranty and the engine takes the after treatment out. So if you throw it like injector goes and it goes through and it causes it to take it dumps fuel and takes the whole after treatment, even though you had the warranty, it's worth nothing.
Right, because it was.
So what happened was we went to all the towns and go, hey, listen, that extended warranty for 7 years is now half price because you've already got the after treatment. So it's really not much money and you're foolish not to buy it. So I don't think in the last 3 years I ever had a town that didn't take it, because for 7 years you're getting the engine, all the turbos, injectors, you get everything from where the air goes in to where the air goes out under warranty for 7 years. It's based off mileage. So 7 years, 150. Well, the trucks over the road, they do that a little more than a year. And so then it comes more, but as a plow truck or a town, that it was, I don't think I never did. I sold it every time.
We used
You
to always,
never hit that mileage.
we used to always be around 60, and now since we got the 10-wheel and started hauling, I think Josh is at 100,000.
Yeah.
Almost 100.
Yeah.
Because that's.
But you
why we
hit
bought
that
truck
after
so we
that
could start-
year would have, the
Right.
years ran out before the mileage ever got a chance to.
Normally,
Yeah.
yeah, it's real close. Some towns would come in 98 or 7 years on, but basically, yeah, it's really a no-brainer. And then, so there's 2 warranties on it and everything's changed. So one is all the engine, we call it EW, stands for engine warranty. So I sell EW for 7 years for a town. You can get 5 years, but anybody goes 7 years. That initial warranty was 2 years, so you're basically buying 5 more years. It's going out to 7 years. The other warranty that covers everything else. So in this case, they buy a Western Star. The engine and all the after treatment is made by Detroit, and the Western Star makes everything else. They can buy that for 7 years. That would be anything from the door to the radiator, to the air conditioner, the starter, the batteries, the alternator, that's everything else. That warranty is not that much money. So that when I sell 7 years, that's what everybody's buying lately. It's a TC4, and that warranty is only 1 year. So you're actually bumping that out 6 more years. But normally I come back to the town and go, here's what the EW costs, and this is what the TC costs. And you really, only thing you would have left would be oil changes, brakes, and tires. And everything else is covered. You also get free road service with it. So if all of a sudden something happened, you're not getting a tow bill or any of that stuff. It's all because it's under the warranty clause. If that makes sense.
And how much are those warranties if you add that all together? Or do you not know right off the top of your head?
Yeah.
I mean, like approximate?
Approximately, probably, I think one is 3 and one's 4,000. So 7, so it'd be like, I'm guessing 7 or 8,000 for 7 years for everything.
The service guy coming out, it's like $200 a month.
Right, so it's $8,000, so it's $1,000 a year.
Doesn't take.
Give or
long to
take,
suck that in.
a little more, $1,000.
Which we were discussing, the current truck Charlie has does not have the 7, but the truck that just ordered the 10-wheeler,
Right.
we went
You
to
know,
the 7.
Correct.
Yeah.
I believe that.
When this happened 3 years ago, I think, which he would have, I would have sold, I swear. I don't remember any towns not doing it. But before that, it cost more money.
Right,
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
did. Did I have? Yeah. Chester, all the towns around you did buy it. Chester's been on a 7-year rotation for a long time. West Windsor, all the towns around. Actually, every town around.
It might have come into play because that was the first 10-wheeler, right? That was 2016. Never had a 10-wheeler here. It was just 2 6-wheelers.
I was here.
So that could have been a factor in that decision of the warranties too, because there was no how much the town was actually going to use the 10-wheeler. But
So I think we always knew that we
needed
that
it.
we would, but it was trying to make it fit in
Yeah.
the garage, and there's a whole lot of variables.
It was variables, But I kind of saw it coming where every town,
Yeah.
my town's the same way. We're getting down to, 8 trucks and I'm going, they have 2 6-wheelers. I'm gonna talk them out of it. I'm gonna either go smaller. Just the 6-wheelers that they normally run, they're just not a good investment. They were getting this cost of ownership. Well, one is all the people that run 6-wheelers being up here in the mountains, they want a bigger engine. So now it's the same engine that's in their big trucks. I just turned it down a little bit. It's the same truck, just 1 wheel instead of 2 sets. However, they run a 30,000-pound rear instead of 2 23s, and that 30 costs as much as the 2 23s. So we're all done. The 6-wheeler costs almost, but then the resale value is not nearly as good, and it doesn't do as much work. But my town had the same thing where, the guy get up and start saying, well, I don't want those big trucks going by. And I said, you want them going by your house twice in a snowstorm, or you want once? Because we're like anything else. We have a section of our town's way over where we need to haul that much sand and salt out that far to stay out long enough, But those are what we're starting to think about. And now we're having a hard time getting trained drivers. So we've gone to basically taken a 1-ton. It's a 1-ton, but we've grown it up. It's big. It's a Freightliner. It's a non-CDL, but it's replica of exactly what they're running. In other words, it has air brakes. It has the same controls, the same everything. It's all-wheel. It turns sharper than a pickup, so they can go anywhere in town and do it. But you're training a person to drive it that eventually can drive a CDL truck on it. We're doing more of those now.
Automatic, are they automatic?
All automatic.
They're all
Let's be honest. Yeah,
Because non-CDL.
yeah.
No more on.
Yeah. It's coming. It is coming.
So what is, I'm my mind is boggled. What is the process at this point if indeed we say, okay, you've got 250 trucks that you are going to be able to sell? And what is the process to putting our name on one of them?
All I would need is you really can't commit because you got to go to the voters and all that. Just to say, yes, we want town to Andover. Go ahead and plan on it. This is really weird. You make my day if you don't take it, because the longer it goes, the more I make because the towns are desperate. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it that way, but it's basically and normally, comes March, people are calling me, but a lot of times I'm delivering trucks. Just delivered one the other day that was built in 22. They just delivered it that long at a vendor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got it. And so it's so confusing. So all I do is let's just, and I work with Viking. He'll say, well, I can handle these many, and we discuss it. But him and I try to work with the same towns all the time. That okay, Andover's getting one. I just know him. Is the 6-wheeler going to be a manual too?
Yes.
Those I can get.
Or we may, it has to obviously go to the board, but we may look at a smaller body tandem if it's in the cards. But
That
was my next question.
we wanted to hear from you first, so at least so the board knows what we're up against.
So there's 2 things I have a problem with Andover, okay? One is I stock automatics because everybody wants them. I don't like to stock a manual. In this case, because I know you so well, it is a few towns that will take a manual. But for me to stock a manual in a 6-wheeler, you're probably the last time I ever sold one too. I can't remember the last time I sold a 6-wheeler with a manual transmission.
Right.
That would scare me to stock one. In other words, however.
And that's what you're talking about when you're saying a smaller body tandem.
No, he's talking about a smaller body 10-wheeler.
10-wheeler.
A smaller body
The
10.
possibility of replacing Charlie's 6-wheeler with a 10-wheeler.
Okay.
That's just an idea.
I got lost in that.
An idea. Tandem is a 10-wheeler.
That one I can handle because what it is it's the wheelbase, and actually that's what I was going to say. I put all the orders in, and then Viking comes along and tells me how long to make it by how he picks the equipment. Some equipment, but the truck is actually a little bit longer because we put the hydraulic tank here, and others we put it down here. So at that point, when I pick the wheelbase, the trucks are all the same. So if he comes along and says, now, normally they run a 14 and says, hey, I want a 12. As long as Viking is telling me it is, I'm moving. But, and I'll do a manual. It just, because manual and tandems I sell all the time. But a manual and 6-wheeler, boy, you'd have to.
And why would you choose that as opposed to?
Well, for one, carries more. We have been hauling more material the last few
Getting
years.
farther away.
And yes, the good materials getting further away.
You
But
burn.
could Craig just hit again on rough cost between a 10-wheeler and a 6-wheeler, and then you also hit on the trade difference? Could you just touch on that one more time, Craig?
The 6-wheelers, the one you're trying to get me to order, would not be a good purchase, to be honest with you. But if that's what works, that's what works. What I'm saying is,
It wouldn't be a good purchase for you because you
No,
can't.
No, for us as a
town.
trade-in. He said the trade,
Oh,
by the
trade-in.
time that 7 years from now, there's gonna be a person driving a manual. Six. If there's not one now, there won't be.
put it this way,
You know what I'm saying?
it's gonna cost you 10 grand less, and I'm probably going in 7 years give you 40,000-50,000 less in trade.
So there's not.
That's why I said, there again, it's not what you pay for, it's what it costs you to own it, from the time you have it to the time you get rid of it. And I'm going like, man, when you go rid of it, you're gonna wish you had that truck.
So you
Not that it won't
spend a
work,
little
you
more
do-
now. You're
Yeah.
essentially making money on your trade at the end.
Right.
That would totally wash plus be some in our pocket.
Why, and I never did ask you, why don't you like manuals?
Why don't I like the automatics?
No, man, yeah,
We don't like automatics because we put 3 in his truck.
yeah, okay.
And then there's no brake, no Jake in reverse. I know they've gone to like a 2-speed reverse, but
Yeah,
if you can't, with the automatics, just so the board's on track, if you're plowing up a hill and you spin out, you lose traction. Now you're going backwards. He puts it in reverse. You gotta steer, so if he needs to hit the brakes, as soon as he hits the brakes, it locks the front tires. Now you're just at God's will. You're ping ponging off the snowbanks. And it happens several times a year. And Josh, I don't know how
Because
he
of our
does-
steep.
I don't know how he does it,
terrain.
but he always gets the truck back in one piece. But the stories we've heard and the spots
You
he's
know,
been.
I'm not a road working guy and I don't know a lot about it, but if I were having to plow a road, even not knowing anything about plowing, I would want a, I'd want the clutch. I wouldn't wanna be.
Because you can gear it down.
Cause you can do all the things with it. You
But
can-
he's saying also it doesn't have a Jake brake, engine brake in reverse
Right.
like a manual.
Which will, it kind of slows you down. Yes, it can skid too, but it's a little more controlled.
Control, yeah.
I'd like to have you try the DT12, so when I get one, I'll have you try it, so that's,
You have to pick one of our really snowy roads for him to try it on.
no, but like I said, every town's a little different. I sell to every town, and it's just a little pocket, it's Andover, and who's the other one that buys the manuals? 2 of you every year.
Probably Mount Holly.
Yeah, Mount Holly, you know,
Or
3,
Weston, right, yeah.
no,
Weston went automatic.
they all.
Now Holly's about as flat as him. Yeah.
Right.
But Mount Holly's there.
Garage flow, that's the transmission that Josh picked too has, it's a 16 speed, but 18, excuse me.
Yeah.
But it has half gears, so if
Yeah.
he needs just a little bit more power, he can just, you don't even have to use the clutch, it's just a quick let off the throttle and grab a half gear to give you that little bit of oomph that you might need. So,
But you're saying that 6-wheeler in 6 or 7 years, you're gonna give the little trade in like.
Yeah, and honestly, in the manuals the same, when they trade their trucks in, that 18 speed. But it's not as bad in the tandem because
Somebody will drive it.
somebody will drive it, okay? But, you know, and they'll drive with a mid. Will they want them? Not very many. There's only a few towns left that don't get an automatic, to be honest with you. But I understand what you're saying. The problem we got is to defend him, some of the towns are going, okay, the next guy we hired won't know how to ship,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
And the government on the corner is doing away with manual, it doesn't get fuel mileage because you don't know how to drive. You know, they want it to control. They want to control everything. So we do have a DT12, which is a manual transmission that the computer ships. That's really starting to catch on. I wasn't crazy about them at first, but now they have a vocation version of it, and you're going to see us sell more of them all the time. So on it. But no, it's the tandems is something that makes more sense than the 6-wheel. At least always has, but.
And Charlie, what is it that you're looking at again? Refresh my,
You just took those words right out of my mouth.
Well, I'm looking at for a truck.
Yeah.
So
I know you said.
we haven't really talked it over yet, but if we went with another 10, probably would have to do the 12-foot body instead of the 14 like Josh's, because I don't honestly think we can fit it in the garage with the plow on, and putting plows on in the middle of the night in a snowstorm is no fun. So it's just trying to make everything mesh.
Mm-hmm.
We play musical equipment all the time, just trying to match things up so we can get the doors closed. And it's even worse in the wintertime, so.
Give me the measurements sometime, let's see what it can do. Okay?
Yeah, so we might be able to play.
I might be able
around
to shorten the hitch up, and then you're running reverse blades too, right?
Yes.
And express boards,
Well,
you're not? Okay. Give me the measurement sometime, because you're not the only one to
Yeah.
try to squeeze them in the garage on it. We put your hydraulic tank down under,
no,
so you'd have to live with that too.
right.
But it's stainless steel. We could shorten it up pretty well on it. It'll get around. If I didn't realize that that's your 100% of your problem, because a 12-footer will turn just as sharp as the 6.
Yeah, you told us that.
Yeah.
So Charlie, so if we were to take this conversation kind of to its conclusion for tonight, you're basically saying, or maybe Chris, maybe I'm asking you, you know, we're kind of trying to decide, do we want to get on the list?
I think we need to decide first what,
Or
What he's looking
and
at, and
also
let these
get the
two talk
numbers.
about.
Look at the numbers on it's got to cost too.
Yeah, do some measuring and just, you know,
Right.
But I think it'd be
Maybe
safe
a
to say you can work
ballpark.
out the trade number on the truck he's got.
ballpark cost.
That would be a good number to have.
He could
I mean, there's
almost,
not, that doesn't hurt. Have a trade number.
But
he could
I'm not
almost give it to you.
confused. So
I said, as many as he does without even looking at it, I bet he could give you
Yeah.
a pretty close
I'm
number.
not doing nothing. But so I'm not confused. In the calendar, March of 25, you weren't really going to ask for money. You were going to wait till March of 26. Am I right? Trying to get what year were you scheduled to do this?
To 19, so it's the time for, yeah, so 26 would then, right, 26 would be when you want to be in the driver's seat of it.
Like I say, you need to order before then.
So here's what's confusing. We never make the model year of the year it's in. So if it's a 2019, it's really a 2018. Give a good example. Come January of 25, we're building model year 26.
Yeah.
That's where it gets confusing, where people say we're 26. Well, what? Forget the model year. Now we're looking at the fiscal year.
The real year, the
The
truck.
fiscal year where you're looking for the truck. Is it come July of 25, where you guys looking to buy the truck and trade it in July of 25? Or were you really looking to go into July of 26? 25. So that's really this year.
Yeah,
Year we're in.
that's why you're here, because we know what we're up against. So we wanted, well, we as the crew wanted you to talk to the board, just
Okay.
because it's hard to talk to you, Craig, and then
Yeah.
get everything right, and then try to
It
put
is
it on the
confusing about.
board, and then they have these questions, and then
But we
try to postpone.
try to plan that when you order a truck, you still gotta spend another winter.
Well, the reason why you kept saying this is
Or
19.
two,
I'll go back
or two.
and look at your two on it.
yeah,
See what I'm saying? That's what gets confusing.
I'm gonna move that we have Charlie and you come up with what it would look like specific, the deal.
Mhm.
If we were looking at that July 25th, July 2025. And have you bring that back to us.
Yeah.
Like maybe at the next
Charlie,
meeting.
right back.
Yeah.
So that we can kind of really have the numbers, understand what that would look like. Because, and then,
Like, to know if it fits in the garage, because I think,
I'd like to
I
know
think
if it
if
fits
you're
in the
willing to
garage.
drive another 10-wheeler all over town, I don't see why we wouldn't have another 10-wheeler rather than
Honestly, some of the roads that we're not piling at were those
trouble
tight
roads.
trouble roads. But
we're hauling, in the summer, they're hauling stuff a lot farther away, and it's only gonna get farther.
In a couple of years, who knows where we're gonna go for
Yeah.
it.
And if we have a 10-wheeler, we're not going to say, okay, well, we also need a 6-wheeler because we can.
no.
okay, so does anyone want to second my motion?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll second, or,
I will,
Aye.
just make sure you get a hold of Mike Murray too, because he's gonna dictate a little bit
Yeah.
of
no,
when the equipment is, because that dictates when I'm gonna give you the trade. Because it's more Viking than it is me. The only reason because he's talking about a manual, and I can get those pretty fast. The Allison transmission.
so now we're talking about the equipment that gets put on it. So the newest truck that we bought,
He's already done
You
his
do.
part.
You've
He's
done your
waiting
part.
for Viking
so
to
this
help
is,
fit.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can you push it along the Viking a little bit so we can get?
So Craig told us by the first of the year is what
Yeah.
his best guess was. And Mike's saying it's slated.
Hey, I just like that.
after,
Sitting on my lot.
just after the beginning
But
of the
what
year.
he's saying is just to get that truck next year, the way the current 10-wheeler is, the
Mhm.
frame with a serial number, VIN number,
Yeah.
ready to be built is as far as you have to go.
Right.
Outfit is another story. But you can't start building in 26. 'cause things
So
are gonna
right
change.
now, the reason I'm saying, right now, if he wanted an automatic, that's one, I'm not upset he isn't. You're not getting one. I'm sold out to into 26. Like I said, I put 100 of those on orders.
Yeah.
Just the transmission.
Just the transmission, because we're done. They don't have, I mean, in their wisdom, in April, they said, oh, no more Allison transmission. So what do you think of that? And all the towns kept waiting, Lane Grove and all the towns around you. So 3 weeks ago, they said, go ahead, you can order first quarter of 25. Well, I ordered 50 of them, so one day I looked in the first, all of a sudden in the whole country now. One day, the first quarter was sold, next day, the second, third, so we all panicked. And thank God we were a big dealership. We called Freightliner and Westonstein, we're going like, we gotta have some Allison transmissions, so they gave us 100 more. And my only salvation, I have a little bit more, is because Massachusetts can't sell them right now. If Massachusetts open up, then we're all gonna be short. But the state of Vermont wants 50 of them. And I'm going like, I gave 10, that's it, I'm not getting the other 40 till I figure out where we're at.
You're talking about the state trucks, right?
Yeah, but because he has a manual, I can sneak that in, because they'll build that. So I can get it, but here's the other problem, where does Viking gonna get it? Because we're gonna be right back in the same spot. I'm sitting on the chassis and I'm waiting for Viking to put the equipment on it. And he's getting heat from everybody. I got 34, he's one of 34 trucks that are on my lot. They're all fighting for the end.
And so what are you doing? Your hands are no longer responsible for those trucks, other than the fact that they're on your lot, am I correct?
What do you mean?
No, they're his. They're just, he's waiting for a subcontractor. Viking's a subcontractor.
Yeah, and what it
correct?
is, to be honest with you, so Viking is the only, in there good, but they're like, they're short. So we have 4 bays. They've given me now up to 3 bays a month. I get to choose. However, I can't choose something if they don't have equipment, and they're hurting because they can't seem to get bodies. So right now, tomorrow they're going to get grafting. Well, that truck's been up there for months. Town of Rockingham, we don't even have any idea where the body is. The truck is all built, and they have, all the hit controls, everything's on it but the body. And so if you go up, there's 8 trucks, so that's the reason why I didn't send his up. They only have close to having his body yet. As soon as they let me know Andover's body is not when they hit it, it's gonna be built in Canada.
Wow.
Then I'm shipping it up there because it could show up, so they can get in line. Because there's in that bay, there's one there, one coming in, and then one coming up to go behind that one, and each one. And right now, I don't have a commitment from him where Andover is. However, Andover is better than 20 some others that they only have equipment with the rest of the equipment. They know where Andover's regular equipment, they just don't know what the body is. In other words, they haven't built the body yet on it. It's just what the times are in. So, but you're gonna go through it all again next year because,
Another.
if Viking's already told all the customers, the all 25 were sold out. It depends on who Craig gives us as the chassis. In other words, I already told him we can order this many, and he's already going, okay. We're not sure what names are on those yet, but we can't take any more orders. So, thank you for.
Well, thank you, appreciate all of the,
So
You really
Charlie,
explained that well.
you'll get that all
Yeah,
together.
for sure, yeah.
Wow.
appreciate all of the explanation.
Thank you.
Oh, the whole cruise.
On.
Yeah, I'll give you the-
It is very nice. You know, something else I wanna say is that I realized why I had that thought about the manual, driving a big truck. Cause 15 years ago, I got my CDL.
Oh, no kidding.
I had my CDL, that's why I, huh? I let it lapse when I moved out last, yeah.
I should say, I'll call out the first.
Yeah. I know, I had my CDL, I went through the whole process, passed all the tests and everything. I know, that's why when you were talking about it, I thought, I was having a strong opinion and I thought, why is that? And then I remembered, because I went and got my CDL. I went on the record as that.
Let's get our CDL.
You did over this already.
Wow.
Somebody said before, Charlie, what's up?
What's up?
What's up with roads?
They're all right. No, they're coming sign. Oh, yeah, I'm not even, but we put Newton Road stop sign.
Did you put it at the end of Newton or across the
We
road?
put it back in the same
In the
spot.
same spot?
Yeah.
We'll see how that,
Does it have the cameras on it and everything?
No,
no, got nothing.
Financial orders.
They're right in green folder.
All right.